All right, welcome back, Truth Seeker. This video is going to be about major rituals that have taken place during this year's March Madness tournament on the court and off the court. And tonight we're going to talk about UCLA, the 11 Magic, and what they accomplished by beating Michigan to advance to the Final Four, the first four to make it to Final Four since 2011. Huge 11 ritual. We'll talk about that. Bert Smith, the ref, with his little stunt while the score was 11-4 in favor of Gonzaga in Indiana, home of the Indiana Pacers. We'll talk more about this. It's all ritual. And, Baylor's in the Final Four for the first time in 71 years, and every year I'm talking about the significance of March Madness in 71. And, of course, Elgin Baylor this year died during the tournament on March 22nd, right after it got underway. And then in Baylor's next game against Villanova, they dropped Villanova to 18-7, like how Elgin Baylor died 187 days after his birthday. Talk more about that. He went to the Jesuit University, Seattle University. Seattle equals 82. This is the 82nd tournament. Baylor University is 82. But caught something that I didn't know before this tournament began. Another 56 for the Jesuit pile. The first team to ever have a perfect season in college basketball was San Francisco University, which is one of the 27 Jesuit universities in the nation. And this year, Gonzaga has a chance to do it, which is also a Jesuit university. But San Francisco became the first team with a perfect season in 56. Go figure, right? That huge number with the Jesuits, 56. And remember, if Gonzaga does go perfect this year, they'll go 32-0. The last team to do it was Indiana in 76, 45 years ago. And if Gonzaga matches it, they'll do it on 4-5, 45 years later in Indiana, where the entire tournament is. Mark Few also has that Gematria 32. Again, we're going to revisit the death of Oscar Freyer, who reportedly died 57 hours after the March Madness game, and his name's 57, the March Madness game that he was in. Again, the brother of Grand Canyon, the brother of the Grand Canyon coach, the brother of the Grand Canyon team's coach. I don't know why I can't put that together. The coach of Grand Canyon, his brother, is the coach of Baylor University, you see. And we're going to come back to this injury while UCLA was on 34 points, was 17-17 to their star player tonight. It reminded me of LeBron James with his little 34 ritual with his injury with the Lakers in his first season with the Lakers. We talked a lot about the 34 ritual with LeBron James. But remember when LeBron James went to LA? He went there on July 1st, 2018. And we said, oh, look at that. The day can be written 1-7 like 17. He's coming from the 17th state of Ohio. He's on a $153 million contract, the 17th triangular number, NBA's 17. And now he can win the Lakers their 17th championship in his 17th season, which will be his second with the Lakers, which is exactly what he did. But remember, right after he signed, you had two former UCLA basketball players drop dead. And now UCLA, this basketball powerhouse who's won the most ever March Madness tournaments, they're really back in the time that LeBron's in LA. And I'll tell you right now, next year is going to be the 83rd tournament. Bruins equals 83 in the most simple cipher. We'll see what UCLA does in the Final Four against the Zags. But I have a feeling UCLA is going to be a hot commodity in next year's tournament. And also, today was the 89th day of the year. 89 is the 24th prime number. And at halftime, they put up this stat. UCLA had won 23 straight games when leading at the half. Today, they won their 24th straight game on the 89th day of the year. Los Angeles, California, 89 where they're from. 89 is the 24th prime. 89 is also the 11th Fibonacci. And they had this huge 11 ritual today. So we'll get back to that. Also going to talk about the 3 Masonic lodges that burned up today in Vancouver, BC, and why that happened today on the 74 date numerology. Halftime's also 74, like they did that UCLA halftime ritual. Also talk about the death of G. Gordon Liddy real quick and how he fits in on the 74 date. Of course, he was with Richard Nixon, and Richard Nixon resigned in 74 on August 9th, and then he's dead on the 89th day of the year, like 8-9. Again, from sports to politics to news, when you know Gematria, you see how the whole game's rigged. And we'll come back to this Lil Nas X sneaker, which releases during the time of March Madness, and talk about the author who died, who went to North Texas, who was in the tournament this year. But coming back to tonight, UCLA is an 11 seed who was in part of what they call the first four. There's 4 games to make it into the tournament. It's a relatively newer thing with March Madness. But the only first 4 team to make it to the Final Four before tonight was VCU. They did it as an 11 seed in 2011. Tonight, UCLA did it as well on the 11 date numerology. Again, March 30th, 2021. And notice their coach became 11-11. And if you took Big Al's advice tonight, Big Al pointed out last night in our live stream on Patreon that if UCLA covered the spread, Michigan would become 19-9 against the spread, like 199, the 46th prime, and March Madness is 46, always a big number with March Madness. So if you took UCLA to cover, you definitely won your bet, because not only did they cover, they won the game. But what I'm mad about is my stats that I was using showed that if Mick Cronin won tonight, he was going to have 10 wins and 11 losses in the tournament. And the thing I use is usually pretty accurate. So when I saw this tonight, I was like, man, he got his 11th win and stayed on 11 losses on the 11-date numerology as the 11th seed, becoming the first team since 2011. And I don't know if the network fudged the stat, because I trust the site I use, and they had him at 9 wins, 11 losses coming into tonight's game. But as soon as the game ended, they put up that 11-11, and I was like, man, that means if Gonzaga beats them in the next round, Gonzaga will get their 31st win of the year. 31's the 11th prime. They'd get the 31st win over the 11th seed. But notice, first to go from first 4 to Final Four, and they did it against Michigan, which is 44, and VCU, who did it in 2011, did it against Kansas, and Kansas is an 11. So that was part of the 11 ritual that year. But again, you just see it's all number games on the 11-date numerology. And keep in mind, UCLA's won 11 tournaments. They've won the most. They've won 11. And on the 11 date is the 11th seed, this huge 11 ritual. And apparently Mick Cronin is now 11-11 in the tournament. With regards to 11, Gonzaga on 11 points on the 11-date numerology, up 11-4 against USC, has the ref Bert Smith claps, whose name is 114. LeBron James, of course, is 114. You know, Gonzaga was playing the LA basketball program, USC. Wouldn't be surprised if there's something that they'll end up syncing up with LeBron here, because LeBron's kind of the centerpiece of the world of rigged basketball. But keep in mind, this isn't Indiana, who's currently in 9th place in the Eastern Conference right now. So I'm going to keep an eye on the Pacers. But Indiana Pacers has that 114, because, again, tonight's game was in Indiana, the NBA franchise. And again, if you saw this, it was just such a joke. I mean, who falls and puts their arms back like this? Come on. It's just such an unnatural position. It's a complete ritual. And don't forget, the refs out there wear the black and white, Masonic colors. Basketball credited to Naismith the Mason. Masonic ritual. That's what it is. Today has 74 date numerology. Masonic 74. 7 plus 4, 11. The numerology is 74 is 11. Anyway, it's all ritual. Up 7. USC with 4. Script. And again, literally year after year when I teach about March Madness, I'm always talking about 71 redundantly. It's the number year after year. There's just so many rituals with 71. This isn't the only one, but Baylor Bears 71, March Madness 71, and their Final Four since 71, in the year that Elgin Baylor dies during the tournament. And you see how Elgin Baylor's 86? On the 86th day of the year, that's when Baylor dropped Villanova to 18-7, and notice, from his birthday to his death, 187 days later. And again, Villanova fell to 18-7, right? And notice from Elgin Baylor's birthday to the championship date is 201 days, and it's in Indianapolis. 201, huge number with the Jesuit Order. The Jesuit Order 201. Brady just had 201 yards passing in Super Bowl 55. His 201st career win was over the Rams. Rams has that 201 Gematria. Of course, they were in Missouri like Kansas City when he beat them in the Super Bowl. Super Bowl 36. But also, if you measure to the Baylor coach's birthday, his birthday is October 23rd. From April 5th, 2021 to the Baylor coach's birthday, October 23rd, 2021 is 201 days later. And again, the championship is in Indianapolis. The Society of Jesus is 187. That's the same as the Jesuit order. So Villanova, and remember, Villanova's the Catholic program, right? They beat the Jesuit program, Georgetown, in the first ever March Madness in 1985, and understand why it was in 85. Again, you only need the two ciphers that I originally learned in Manly P. Hall's The Secret Teachings of All Ages, with the most simple cipher, the alphabetic order. Basketball is 85. And the Jesuit motto, Isus Hominum Salvator, is 85. First March Madness ever. Catholic Villanova beats Jesuit Georgetown. The Jesuits serve the Catholic Church. So, again, you just start to realize the language, the calendar. I mean, everybody knows that the calendar is named after a Catholic pope, Pope Gregory, the Gregorian calendar that we're on. What a lot of people can find out real fast is the English language is credited to a Catholic monk. You start to realize it's not hard to see who synced it all up and who's controlling the rituals. All roads lead to Rome. The Romans used to control their people with military, police, laws, and entertainment. That entertainment piece is so crucial. I think it's the most crucial piece. You know, entertainment keeps people pacified. So does the easy-to-access food that is in abundance. As long as people are full and somewhat satisfied, they are complacent. And again, Elgin Baylor went to Seattle University, which is a Jesuit school. And Seattle in the most simple cipher is 82. Again, this is the 82nd tournament. And Baylor University has that 82, again, in what's considered the most pure cipher. Realize this is exactly what I learned in Manly P. Hall's Secret Teachings of All Ages. This is all I worked with for 3 years. Just with these ciphers, I saw enough. And let's see here. So again, San Francisco is also a Jesuit program. And if you want to understand why Seattle U and San Francisco U are both Jesuit schools, again, it's not hard to see who plotted the coordinates on this world either. When you run the alphabetic order in reverse with the rules of numerology, one of the base ciphers, Isus Hominum Salvator, is 122. And Seattle and San Francisco are both on the 122nd meridian. And right now we're in the time of the first Jesuit Pope, Pope Francis, who's 122. And remember, his birth name, Jorge Mario Bergoglio, is 201, just like the Jesuit order. And Ignatius of Loyola, the founder of the Jesuits, 201. And remember, Pope Francis, the first pope to live in Suite 201, first team to win March Madness, Catholic over Jesuit, first team to ever have a perfect season, the Jesuit program. This year, the Jesuit program, Gonzaga, has a chance to do it. And remember, Gonzaga's got that double connection to 71. Gonzaga's 71, Gonzaga Bulldogs is 71. And watch how Catholic is 71 and 46, just like March Madness is 71 and 46. And the first ever one to win it, Villanova, the Catholic school. And with regards to Catholic, don't forget all these rituals. Joe Biden, the election and the votes were confirmed for him on January 7th, 7-1 like 71. The election was called for him November 7th, 353 days after his birthday, the 71st prime. Prior to Biden, the only Catholic president was JFK, number 35, who was killed at age 46. And now Joe Biden became number 46 in an election that was 46 weeks after the Catholic Pope's birthday. And of course, Beau Biden died at age 46, 201 days before Pope Francis's birthday. And the man who did the funeral was the Jesuit Georgetown president, just like how he did the inauguration for Biden, and his name equals 201. And his wife and daughter died right after he became senator back in 72. And they died on, I think it was Limestone Road. If it's 201, that's right. Yep. His wife and daughter died on Limestone Road. Beau Biden died 201 days before the Pope's birthday. And remember, with regards to Catholic being 46 and 145, in the Catholic Old Testament, their Bible's different than the Protestant Old Testament. It has 46 books, and it has 145 more chapters. And that's in the Old Testament, which is the Jewish section of the book. And those who created the Jesuits were Jews who converted to Catholicism. And think about what day Israel was established, 14/5, May 14th. You know, if you've never seen my work on Mark Zuckerberg, who has the same birthday, born in 1984, knows his name's 84, like the Jesuit order is 84, and Jesuits 84, and the nation they run, United States of America, is 84. You never seen that? Check it out. He became worth $100 billion 84 days after his birthday last year, supposedly. Okay. And with regards to the whole 56 thing, in case you're new here, just so you know, this is the number of the times. I'm just going to break it down to this one cipher. Coronavirus 56. Remember how toilet paper sold out after coronavirus? Toilet paper 56. Unemployment 56. Society of Jesus 56. The face of this is Anthony Fauci, Jesuit educated, 56, who said at Jesuit Georgetown that he said at Jesuit Georgetown on January 10th, 2017, that there'd be a surprise outbreak in the time of Trump. You know, he was just so confident about it. And, you know, the expensive beverage to get better from coronavirus, Regeneron's 56, COVID vaccines 56. Supposedly the first person in the world to get it was Maggie Keenan, whose name is 56. You had the Project Runway mockery from March 2019. The contestant COVID Kapoor, spelled with K's, who made all of his outfits with matching masks, just like everyone's wearing now. And they said his real name was Kevin Kapoor, which is also 56. And I know I'm forgetting a bunch of things on this list. Pope Francis is encyclical about what to do about coronavirus is Fratelli Tutti. Yeah, that's what it is. Fratelli Tutti 56. It's also what to do about climate change, and the whole coronavirus thing fits in with Event 201. Oh, yeah, and don't forget, the Jesuits are strong in Washington, D.C., where Georgetown is, and they were found in Paris, France, which is another 56. And they were behind the Adolf Hitler hoax, who supposedly committed suicide at age 56, but his body was never found. Again, the Jesuits are behind all the world wars. All roads lead to Rome. They distract you with the entertainment. They mock you with their news, their politics, their policies. It's kind of how it works. So anyway, Oscar Freyer from Grand Canyon, they made their first March Madness. 3 days later, he died with his girlfriend and sister, so 3 dead 3 days later. And they went to the very specific stat of saying that he died 57 hours after the crash, he died 57 hours after their game ended. And his name in the most pure cipher is 57. And he wore the number 4, the number associated with death, because in Mandarin Chinese and in Japanese, you pronounce the number 4 the same way you pronounce death. And as Manly P. Hall wrote about, the number 4 represents the tomb. So he also died on a 67 date numerology, the blood sacrifice, human sacrifice number. They call Grand Canyon the Lopes, which is 67, also 23, and he died at age 23 on the 23rd. And they said his dad died in a car crash as well. And his surname has that 73 like sacrifice, and 73 is the 21st prime, and he's dead in 2021. And then just, again, if you go back and watch my old videos on LeBron's injuries in 34, I mean, we talked about it a lot. And there's been other injury riddles over the years with 34. But just UCLA doing well, LeBron in LA, Lakers won the championship this year. You know, Lakers dynasty, UCLA dynasty. Gotta go back the other year. I'm remembering now that there was like a mass shooting at UCLA. That was one of the mass shootings, and gotta go back and look that up. It's probably like 4 or 5 years ago now. But yeah, just 34 again, because injuries 34. It's in Indiana 34. Michigan came back and made it 33-34, but then the big man Riley for UCLA finally broke the scoring streak and made it 36-33. But it's just obvious how contrived all this stuff is. And I mean, look at the time too. 17-17. Like, what is 17 plus 17? It's 34, right? I'm sure this guy's on his way to the league. Future little ritual, getting him ready for his NBA days where they do everything by the numbers. Little rehearsal. But yeah, it's amazing the way they pull it off. Don't forget, modern Freemasonry was created in 1717 in the city of London. And again, they put up this stat at halftime, 74 date numerology, Masonic 74, halftime 74. UCLA had won 23 straight games when leading at the half. It was the 89th day of the year, which is the 24th prime and the 11th Fibonacci. And they won their 24th straight game while leading at the half. And it says that's the longest active streak in the NCAA. So now they face Gonzaga. Gonzaga looking for that 31st win of the season. 31's the 11th prime. They could do that over UCLA. And here, let me bring this up too. Lady Gaga, 34, just to make a point. Okay, so you remember how Lady Gaga lost her Bulldogs, and then she got them back, and Gonzaga's the Bulldogs, and today they advanced over LA, and now they'll play LA again in the next round, and Lady Gaga lost her Bulldogs in LA, right? Well, look at this. This story from another LA actress, Taraji P. Henson. Her Bulldog died on March 28th, which is Lady Gaga's birthday. And don't forget her birthday, 28-3. Remember how when she did the halftime show for Super Bowl 51, that was Patriots-Falcons. The Patriots got down 28-3 right after she sang at halftime, and then they came back with being down 25 on 2/5 in the 97th NFL season, where 97 is the 25th prime. And again, with the most pure cipher, this one right here, Falcons is 25. They moved the touchback to 25 yards that year. But on her birthday, then another LA actress loses the Bulldog, right? So it's like, what are they doing with this? Okay, Lady Gaga loses her Bulldogs in LA in a clearly contrived story, which we made fun of at the time because it was meant to be made fun of. It was a complete joke, a complete mockery of the people. And what pisses me off is that YouTube will take down my videos and say it's like hate speech because I'm mocking that somebody lost their dogs, and that's an evil thing to do. No, I'm not mocking that somebody lost their dogs. I'm mocking bullshit because it's bullshit that they report to us every day, and it's bullshit the way they rig everything and mock us and get away with it. I mean, people are that brain dead. They're just so programmed to believe everything they see on TV, which is obvious bullshit every day. If you have not watched the Lady Gaga dog walker supposedly get shot and lose the dogs, you go back and watch that video and tell me what about that looks real or makes sense or is believable. You don't even hear the dogs bark one time. I mean, come on. It's like a bad scene out of the Three Stooges. But this story, right? So now Gonzaga is going to face two LA teams, kind of like how Lady Gaga lost two French Bulldogs before she got them back. And again, French and the Jesuits are from France. We talked about these things when it happened. But, this woman right here who lost her Bulldog, Taraji Henson, her birthday is September 11th, that infamous day, and from her birthday to today's game was her 201st day of her age. And again, big number in Indianapolis. Her name's actually the exact same as Indianapolis in 3 out of the 4 base ciphers. And the dog's name K-Ball's 34, like Indiana. And from Lady Gaga losing her dogs on February 24th to March 30th, the day of the game was 34 days later. So anyway, some of these riddles they do, you see how they're connected, but still just like to be like, okay, what exactly are they communicating with this? It's hard to. Again, it was easy to see that Villanova would fall to 18-7 against Baylor right after Elgin Baylor dies 187 days after his birthday. That's a riddle, as sick as it is, that's easy to understand. This kind of stuff is like, what exactly are they saying here? But you just see this is what they're doing. This is what they're doing. And can you imagine like being in the world of entertainment, one of these psychopaths that's I guess performs the rituals, henchmen for the people who perform the rituals, like they come to a celebrity and say, listen, you're giving up your dog or you're giving up your own life. I mean, things like this must go on behind the scenes. You wonder why all these entertainers, seem so burnout and unhappy and depressed, and you hear their stories about all their addictions. Imagine if this was your life. You got to sacrifice your dog. I mean, imagine how bad you would feel about that. Most people love their dog. If you had to sacrifice your dog, I mean, come on. Some people are sacrificing their mom. Ask Kanye West. Go back and watch the interview we did with Larry Johnson. Larry Johnson was pretty sure that was the deal. Larry Johnson, Kansas City Chiefs, speaking out. Shout out to him. Too bad there's not more like him. But here, you guys, today on the 74 date numerology. Again, first chapter of my book, all about Masonry and 74. Number games, 9/11 to coronavirus. And my other book that I wrote, even bigger book, I go all into about 74 in the Masons. But on the 74 date numerology, 3 Masonic lodges burn, right? 3. That's special number. But Masonic 74, it's also March 30th, 3 plus 30, 33. Look up in your history book. It said George Washington had 74 generals and 33 of them were Masons, and George Washington was a Mason. Masonry is 33 in the most pure cipher. When you run the alphabetic order in reverse with the rules of numerology, so pretty much doing the same thing but just in reverse, George Washington is 74, George Washington had 74 generals, 33 of which were Masons. You see how Holy Roman Empire is 88 and 74, like George Washington? George Washington was favored by the Catholic Church, and Washington, D.C. was once called Rome on the Potomac, owned by Francis Pope, not to be confused with Pope Francis. But perfect day for a Masonic ritual is what I'm saying. Out of the 50 states, and the most simple cipher, only one sums to 33. Oregon. Oregon is the only state that sums to, what did I just say? Out of the 50 states, only one sums to 74, and it's the 33rd state, Oregon. That's what I meant to say. And Oregon is abbreviated OR. OR is 15 plus 18, 33. And if you doubt that, you can do it in record time. Just type in all the states here and check for yourself. Back in the day, I used to do it pen and paper. I used to double check and triple check my work. Imagine writing it all out and doing it. That's how I noticed it once upon a time before any of these gematria calculators existed. But the story is that the man who set fire, the suspect, is a 42-year-old, right? And notice it was first noticed on East 29th Avenue. Masonic, 74 date numerology 29. The original ways I learned in the Freemasons book, Manly P. Hall, The Secret Teachings of All Ages. And then the man who did it, a 42-year-old, Freemason 42. Remember, Jesuits also got that 42 connection, and modern Freemasonry was created in 1717 in the city of London, which is divided into 33 neighborhood areas. The center is the financial district where the bank is. But notice, London in the most simple cipher, 74, like English, like Gematria, like occult, again, like Masonic. And again, London 74, England's 33, 74, 33, where modern Freemasonry comes from. And again, London's divided into 33 neighborhood areas, just this 3374 thing. It shows up so much. I give several examples just in the beginning of the book from just recent times as I was writing it, just to show how much they come throughout history. And again, Jesuits 42, modern Freemasonry created by the Jesuit order in 1717. 59 is the 17th prime. Notice 59 Freemasonry. From 1717 to 1776, the year that our nation was created, was 59 years later. And our nation was created by Masons and Jesuits. And notice when you write out 3 fires, it has the 5958. Freemasonry's got the 5859. The other street that they mention in addition to 29th is Rupert Street, and they write it out that way. Rupert Street's got the 59139, like Freemasonry's got the 59139. And remember, this nation was created 59 years later, and America's got the 139 in it. That's the third. By the way, you see how Freemasonry's 139 in the most simple cipher? That's the 34th prime number, and free is 34. Math. So there's even more that could be said about it, but I mean, come on. 3 fires on the 74 date. Let me see if Vancouver's on the 122nd Meridian West as well. Like Seattle and... No, it's just a hair off. Seattle and Portland and San Francisco are all on the 122nd Meridian. Okay, and G. Gordon Liddy died today, part of the Watergate scandal. And from his November 30th birthday to his March 30th death was his 121st day of his age, blood sacrifice. Notice that's 4 months later. 4 associated with death, like the college basketball player. Again, he's dead on a 74 date numerology. He was associated with Richard Nixon, 74, who resigned in 74 in the Masonic City, D.C., and Nixon resigned August 9th, 89, and he's dead on the 89th day of the year. You see? Ritual. And then again, if you don't know about these Lil Nas X sneakers, 666 pairs made, priced at $1,018 in tribute to Luke 10:18, where lightning falls from the sky to earth in the form of a lightning bolt. And because of this news story, it finally helped me connect a dot that when I do the revised version of this book, which is already packed with information, but just because I finished this, at the end of July, there's been a lot that's happened since then. But this made something click in my brain so big because Event 201, the coronavirus pandemic simulation, was October 18th, 10:18, like the verse Luke 10:18, like how they priced it at $1,018 and put Luke 10:18 on the show. But remember, the Clade X simulation, which was done by the same group that did Event 201, it was May 15th, 2018, exactly 666 days before the pandemic was declared. So 666, the number of the beast, associated with Satan, Luke 10:18 associated with Satan, and the news anchor person that they use for the two simulations, Clade X and Event 201, her name is Jeanne Me Serve, and the first tenet of Satanism is serve yourself. And look at this. Me Serve. Or I got to do it right. It's Jeanne Me Serve. Jeanne Me Serve is 55. Remember the 136 as well, but 55 is just like Satan. And then the 136 is like Baphomet, which is the symbol for the Satanic Church. So that's what it's really all about. Event 201 in Clade X. And then they did it May 15th, and that date can be written 15/5 in Christianity's 155, which teaches about the Mark of the Beast 666. And don't forget, Mark of the Beast, speaking of basketball, is 81. Just like, you see how it's 54 and 81? Kobe Bean Bryant's 54 and 81, and he died the weekend before Super Bowl 54. But remember, Kobe scored 81 points in his 666th career game, and the Mark of the Beast is 666. Basketball game in Sumerian Gematria is 666. And you might have noticed that UCLA tonight, they fell to 25-8, but they were also down 25-8 at the start of the game. Remember, Mark of the Beast, it's not Mark of the Beast, it's Number of the Beast, which is the other phrasing. The number of the beast is 666. You must accept that, which is the mark of the beast, if you want to buy or sell in the Bible. But Number of the Beast is 258. And remember, a name that's 258 is William Henry Gates. His dad just died on the 258th day of 2020, September 14th, which was the same day Margaret Sanger died in history, who established Planned Parenthood with him. And again, if you look into the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, it has fetal material in it, and his dad was into Planned Parenthood, and the son's into vaccines. But again, Bill Gates' father just died on the 258th day of the year. His full name's William Henry Gates. And when he set up his vaccine alliance, Gavi, it was July 12th, 1999, his 258th day of his age. And in Sumerian Gematria, vaccination 666, and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation was part of Event 201 and also part of Clade X. You see? And don't forget, Seattle's up on the 47th parallel. Beast is 47. Pharrell's 47 right now. Supposedly his cousin got shot in the Virginia Beach thing on March 26th, which was 666 days from the last shooting on May 31st, 2019. And May 31st is the 151st day of the year, which is the 36th prime, and 666 is the 36th triangular number. Again, these people don't miss with their numbers. They don't. And with regards to doing the whole 666 thing with the pandemic, notice pandemic's 151, which is the 36th prime, and 666 is the 36th triangular number, and it's the IHS or the Jesuits or the 36 all behind it. So, again, from Clade X to Lil Nas sneakers to your March Madness, they're coding 201 on every sports event this year in the time of coronavirus with all this coronavirus crap and the time of the Event 201 simulation. Again, the agenda is clearly satanic, and it just gets more obvious every day, So, he's 21 right now. It's this MSCHF brand, but they're using the Nike sneakers from 97, which is the 25th prime, and March is 25, and I'm sure there's something else there with that. I guess 25 has a square root of 5, and the 5-pointed star for the Satanic Church, the upside down pentagram. But yeah, you guys understand, there's been a lot of rituals in this tournament, and I just covered a small fraction of them. If you go do your research, you'll find out a lot more. And it was things like this. This author, Larry McMurtry, who died at age 84, he died right after his former school made it to March Madness, North Texas. And notice they beat Purdue with 78 in a big upset, and then they lost to Villanova with 84. Again, he died at 84, and he's got that Jesuit connection. Dead at age 84 in the year 21, 42 weeks after his birthday, right after his school upsets with 78 points, So, then he died 70 days from his upcoming birthday, and his name's 70 in the most pure cipher. Francis is 70, Vatican 70. Again, Jesuits run the show. They're responsible for the language, the calendar, the way we understand the world as we know it, our education, our government, our media, our sports games, our culture. Again, they've been building this world around us. That's why they play with us day after day like it's some kind of sick joke, and it really is. But, come on. UCLA with 11 championships on the 11-date numerology becomes the first 11 seed from the first 4 to go to the Final Four since 2011 when VCU did it, as their coach becomes 11-11, again on the 11-date numerology, and the last team did it by beating Kansas. And again, tonight they beat Michigan to go from first 4 to Final Four, and Michigan's 44. And again, just watching this, I haven't hardly watched any basketball or anything at all. I'm just working all the time, but I did watch a little bit of tonight's game, and Michigan has that big lefty whose offensive game is absolutely just disgusting to watch and just not even good. It's like, you mean to tell me this is a Division I basketball school and this is the best offense you guys can run tonight? Throw it into big lefty and see if God, it's just I can't stand watching sports, you guys. You just see how scripted it all is. It's all a joke, and and people are dying for it, man. People are dying for these scripted jokes. So, R.I.P. to the fallen. Enjoy the rest of your day. And we'll be back tomorrow, True Seeker. Till next time.